Alright, I am finally getting the time to do this. Um, so, today we are going to be talking about, or reviewing, Season 6 of, um, Superstore. My god, my brain just went totally shut down right there for a second. So, funny story is, before we even really get into talking about the actual show and kind of some of the key points that happen in this season, because I'm really hoping this is actually the final season. I believe it is supposed to be, so funny story, yeah. So I did a review of seasons 1 through 5. I think it might actually be up on on YouTube. I can't. Oh my God, I don't even know. I've done so much stuff in the last few months that I might even have to check my laptop after I talk about this just to be sure that it is even up, because I'm not sure. But I will be putting it up before I even talk about this season, because it's just going to be, yeah, just I made a mistake. I looked at IMDb and it said it was done, so I was not expecting anything, and then all of a sudden a sixth season just came out of nowhere. So I was kind of surprised, but happy at the same time, because it's one of those shows that you don't really want it to end, but you know it's going to end eventually. And I think especially the ending of the show really uh, kind of captured just the fact that these guys had spent that much amount of time together, and it really showed that they actually had really connected over that amount of time. Obviously, they were together for more than 6 years, I think, probably with filming and all of that. So, yeah, and then with COVID and everything else in between, I think maybe that's probably the reason there was a delay, especially with a lot of shows that I've been watching lately. Yeah, kind of just sitting around waiting for the next season to come out, and you're like, oh my god, it's killing me, because I'm waiting so long in between seasons. And I know certain shows it makes sense for production value and stuff, but yeah, I wouldn't really say this was the highest budget show as far as production value goes. I guess probably not, because it's like a sitcom type thing, right? But so obviously we know that Amy is going off to Zephyr, which is the parent company of Cloud9, which is the superstore that everybody works for. So when she leaves, everybody kind of steps up one role, I guess. And Glenn gets his old job back, obviously, as manager of the store, which is funny. And now, um, oh God, what's her name? They have a new floor manager. I can't think of her character name, so we're just going to look that up. Obviously, we have Dina, and I think the person who probably grew the most in this season was honestly Mateo, especially with Jeff coming back to the picture for a few episodes. And when Amy leaves for Chicago, she decides, I guess, not to take Jonah with her for whatever reason. She kind of, again, this is why I never really liked her in the show, because she always found a way to make everything sort of about her, and even though she might not be meaning to do this, she ends up pushing him away because she's not sure what she wants in life now that she's able to actually go to Chicago and get this job. And Jonah was preparing to propose, and then that all went to hell in a handbasket thanks to Amy making another, selfish, selfish decision. What was I typing? Yeah, right. So, yeah, it just really sucks that. And I kind of wasn't even like, I was kind of hoping Jonah would just go his own way after, like, in the final episode, but it kind of seems like him and Amy got back together. I guess it was good because it was finally like that moment where she realized she had royally screwed up and had let probably the best thing that had ever happened in her life go. Uh, so yeah, it was unfortunate. But the way they ended the show was that the store is shutting down. So no more Cloud9. Zephyr's taking over. It looks like Dina's going to be the head honcho of the new company. And she takes kind of like the misfit crew up with her, like Sandra and all the other ones that weren't really like the, I guess, like the main characters of the story or the show. She kind of takes them with her, the ones that you just kind of see from time to time. And so it seems that Mateo and Eric end up getting married at some point. when Mateo's trying to win approval from obviously Amy's parents because Eric is Amy's brother. So that was funny, and it was Cheyenne that ends up being the new floor manager after Amy leaves. So everybody kind of just steps up, and I guess Glenn and Dina kind of do like a co-managing job, which is funny. And at the very end, Glenn has all these tapes of their very first interviews from the store. Uh, and obviously some of them have been working there since they were like teenagers, so it was kind of the effects there were kind of cool to see how they made them look a lot younger than they actually were, and I think they did a very good job of that in this show actually in particular, because sometimes it looks just like a really too goofy, but I think they did a good job with the makeup for making them look younger in this case anyway. So yeah, I think it was the CEO of Cloud9 that ends up coming in, and we find out that yeah, he wasn't quite as nice as Glenn made him out to be, and then he ends up just being kind of insane in the end of it all. So a little funny there for sure. And so when they're watching the tapes, they're kind of reminiscing about their very first moments applying for Cloud9, obviously. And it seems that Dina and Garrett end up together because she asked him to be her boyfriend near the end of the show. So they end up together. Yeah, obviously Amy and Jonah end up together. Glenn reopens Sturgis and Sons after Cloud9 now becomes Zephyra, I guess. And it seems more like it's going to be like a shipping company, I guess, with Zephyra rather than a store. So like, yeah, like a warehouse facility, sort of like what I do as a job, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it would be interesting if they did like a season, if they just changed it and called the show Zephyra and just did like a few seasons, like a spin-off show. I think that would be really funny to see kind of like them separated and kind of all in their own groups and see where Sturgis and Son takes them. Because Glenn does take Mateo and Cheyenne with him, and we obviously know why he's taking Mateo with him, because without a job, I think Mateo would most likely be deported because he's not a American citizen, so I think he does need a job, right? And then in order to get his green card, obviously, in order to stay in the States. So Glenn definitely helped him out there because, yeah, I'm assuming he would have it after taking the job with Glenn. So good on Glenn for doing that. And still, obviously, Glenn was my favorite character. And I can't even remember, oh my god, it's been so long since I've actually seen the show. So I can't really remember what, oh no, I guess I rated I guess because I thought I was doing the whole series, I rated the show an 8 out of 10, so I'm going to stand by that. I'm going to stand by that rating, an 8 out of 10, yeah. Yeah, I would say the season probably by itself is just the 8 out of 10, so. But I think that's pretty much all the key points that I can really remember. Oh, and Carol getting her settlement money was one of the other things that happened. And then it ended up being not that much. Anyway, it only ended up being like, what, 40,000, I think she said, by the end of it after paying off all the fees. So she really fought for nothing against Sandra, which I thought was kind of funny. Because Sandra and Gary, was Gary his name? I think it was kind of always just meant to be with them, not with Carol. Carol was a very weird person, let's just say that much. And at one point, Jonah ends up dating Carol's lawyer. I can't remember what her name was, so we're just going to look that up. Or who played her, actually. Let's see here. Yeah, what episodes was she really in? I'm trying to think. I think it might have been this one, the depositions one. She was definitely in this one. Hannah was her name, and played by Maria Thayer, I guess is how you pronounce it. So yeah, they ended up dating, and I really was hoping that her and Jonah would end up just being the ones together rather than Amy coming back to the picture and kind of mucking things up again. But yeah, I don't know. I just found Amy too selfish. I still kind of stand by that because yeah, she totally just threw Jonah to the wayside when he was about to propose. So, and then when Jonah didn't want to wait around, it was kind of funny that she was ready when Jonah didn't know what he wanted to do anymore. I just found that kind of odd that, yeah, but anyway, I guess Jonah felt kind of used, right? Because he had stayed there because of her, stayed in this job because of her. Like, he could have been out doing something else and not wasting his time for, oh my god, 6 years on that, right? And yeah, he probably felt a little betrayed after all of that. I would have for sure. So, yeah, I think that's it. That's all I can say. 8 out of 10 for this show, obviously as a whole, and this season. I have to give it an 8 out of 10. So I will see you guys in my next review, which I believe will probably be Iron Fist, because I'm currently watching that. And I'm also watching The Boys, but that's just a rewatch. I've already done my review for season 1 and 2. That was a while ago. Oh my god. Trying to keep track of everything I've done. It's just crazy, but I am going to go see now if I've actually uploaded the other Superstore review, and yeah, we'll go from there, because obviously that'll have to be up before this one. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.